she's practicing breaking that bond, okay, on a neural level. And so that means that she is less likely going to be capable of being a good long-term mate for you. But that's not the only data point either. Your instinct to run away from a girl who, treated her V spot like trash, right? Is pretty it's an accurate instinct in a sense. At least it was at one time, because so there's going to be a drive. There is going to be a turnoff. Women don't understand this because women are turned on by men who can get women and who've had sexual experiences with women to a degree, of course, but I mean, if the guy is just out there banging anything on two legs, that's not attractive to her necessarily. But if he is able to get good looking, higher value, higher sexual market value women, and he's had that frequently, that's actually attractive to a woman. What women don't understand is they have no concept of how unattractive that is to a man. And they don't have a concept. All they can do is understand it on a logical level if they choose to get out of their own biases and see things objectively. Even guys who lie to themselves and say that it doesn't matter, or they say, oh, what's good? She's sexually experienced. That's fine. For any kind of long-term mating, LTR, marriage, relationship, anything like that, a girl with a lot of notches and a lot of, pump and dump scenarios is highly unattractive to most. I mean, I'll say all men on an instinctual level. And this is just some things from evolutionary psychology. Don't blame me, blame your genetics, okay? But this is the way that is. And the reason that is because if a girl's had a lot of experiences, that demonstrates that she's most likely not going to be capable of valuing you and protecting your paternity. Meaning, if a better deal is somewhere else, or if she's bored with you, she'll leave the kids in the woods to die and go run off with the other tribe, okay, which is a real thing. And so, or she's going to cuck you, and you're find yourself putting your resources to, the neighbor's kid, okay. And this is just how we evolved. These things happened, and that's a big risk to a guy's paternity and his genetics traveling into the next generation. So a guy sees a woman who's that way and not selective and treats herself like trash. In a sense, she thinks she's being strong and independent, and that she's getting, she's making herself valuable and having fun. And I'm out here having fun, and I'm at the, I'm banging this guy after work. She thinks she's living her best life, girl. But the reality is she is disgusting to men who have options. And so she puts herself in a spot where a man has to overlook that to want to be with her long term. And it's the question of, why should he? Now, there's tons of reasons why he might want to. Okay. There's a lot of women out there who've made mistakes, done the whole face things, didn't destroy their ability to pair bond. And when I say pair bonding, I don't mean just one person. Pair bonding is a term. It's kind of a misnomer, but it means that you have bonding, neurochemical bonding mechanisms with a particular partner. Okay. And for as long as that partner is there, it doesn't mean you mate for life and you're, some fictitious example of penguins. All right. Just to be clear on that. So when I say pair bonding, I mean your neurochemicals are fired or bonded, and you have a neural association to a particular person for the stimulus of sexual pleasure and those love feelings or emotions. Okay. And so a girl has a capacity to do that. It's in part of our wiring, but she's also has a capacity to mate switch quickly and break that or not have that. If she does that and practices mate switching and easy, quick, non-committed sex with dudes and all that stuff. She's practicing breaking that bond, okay, on a neural level. And so that means that she is less likely going to be capable of being a good long-term mate for you. But that's not the only data point either. And so it's just something to be aware of in the dating phase. And then how do you get past it? Well, this again has to do with your biases. Are you going to use your biases to your advantage, or are you going to use it to your detriment? You could be leaving a very good option on the curb because she made bad choices and was a human being once in her life. You know what I mean? And you don't want to get caught up in that either. You don't want to harm yourself by getting into it with the wrong woman, but you don't want to harm yourself by kicking girls to the curb who are really good potential options because they made some shitty bad decisions. And I'm sure you wouldn't want to be kicked to the curb either for your bad decisions. I mean, remember this, you're both the good, the bad, the hero, the villain, the nobody, the somebody in everybody else's story. At one time, you're the villain in someone's story, and you may have earned it. You're one time you were, the ugly person in somebody else's story. Okay. Every single one of you listening. So that's part of being a human being and being flawed. And of course, you don't want to be that person, right? But y'all have been at least once. And so you've made mistakes. Keep that in mind when you judge other people. You know what I mean? You want to look at their current abilities based on their current behavior, and you use the past experiences and knowledge as a data point. You don't want to necessarily use that information so you can be judge and jury and sentencing uh person or whatever in your head, right? Where you're tallying up her mistakes or tallying up her wrongdoings or flaws and then looking for a reason to kick her to the curb. And she is going to want to do that to you at some point, probably. And a lot of women do. And that's not something you're going to want to have done to you either. All right.